Flosstube, my name's Emer and I'm the Irish Stitcher. It is somehow the start of June, and if anyone can tell me where the first 5 months of the year have gone, I'd much appreciate that. Um, yeah, it's we're somehow into summer now. Very happy Pride Month to everybody who celebrates it. Um, yeah, I love this time of year. Spring is my favorite, but this kind of spring to summer transition I think is the best of both worlds. The weather's nice, not too warm. The evenings are nice and long. I'm just a very happy woman at this time of year. It's great. Um, if you watched my last video, you will be aware that I had great intentions for the month of May. It didn't go as planned. I don't think anybody should be surprised. Even at the time, I already knew I had the retreat and the house rewire coming up, so that it was going to be a little bit difficult. I just didn't anticipate quite how intensive the house rewire would be. So yeah, I had a list of 12 projects, and I said I would work on whatever came up randomly. And I'd say for about the first 2 weeks, for the first kind of half of the month, I stuck with that. It was a little odd, and I think that the same 4 projects kept coming up, which meant that I made great progress on those 4, but a lot of them projects that were on the list didn't get rolled at the start of the month, and just didn't get worked on, and then presumably they would have eventually come up in the month, but I quit rolling because I didn't have access to all my projects. So I'm going to show you what I worked on. To start with, I'll show you my whips. I'm going to talk a little bit about the first Bella Filipina retreat that I went to. That was very exciting. And then I'm going to talk some more about my future stitching plans. So without much further ado, let's get on to my whips. First one is Lakabati. You have seen this one many times before on my channel. I'm going to include a picture of where she was at the start of the month of May and where she is now. So just give me a moment because she's quite large. Okay, so for comparison's sake, I have been mostly working on the bottom of her skirt. I've filled out some of the stripes of colour down there. We are getting a knock on the door. I might have to go answer that. I'll be back in a minute. All right, apologies for the break there. It was a teenager delivering pamphlets from a local politician. Sure. Like I was saying, I'd worked on some of her skirt, and this basket here, I feel like it doesn't look like I've done all that much. This was a lot of stitching. That's, I think, like 700 stitches of brown. And that's not even the only big block of brown I have to do. She has this other pot by her side, which is thankfully a little bit smaller, and then the one on her back, which is mostly hidden by her arm. But still, I made some progress on her. She's coming along. Sometimes I get a little bit disheartened about my progress, and then I kind of realize just how large she is. It's okay, she'll take time. I love stitching on her, and that's the main thing. I'm very much a progress stitcher. I enjoy the journey to a finished piece. I did just want to say, actually, when I went to put this to the side, you can probably see a bit of bare plaster on the walls. Like I mentioned, the house rewire was pretty intensive. Everything had to be modernized, changed, sockets added. This house is incredibly dusty. It's taking a long time and a lot of energy and a lot of effort to get it cleaned up. So at some point we will strip the walls and paint them, but it's going to be a while. I'll just have to live with it. Next up on my whip list was Chubby Bird. I had kind of hoped / expected to get it finished this month. Wasn't the case. Here it is. I think it only came up one day, and I didn't particularly have a lot of time to stitch on that day, so maybe got about 100 stitches done. Do I have much left? A couple of days worth of stitching, I think. The eagle-eyed among you may notice that I have made a mistake. There is supposed to be a longer stretch in there to allow for those pink flowers, and I have accidentally made that middle section too short. I'm not bothering to frog it. It's just a little piece. I will change what I can and just ignore what I can't. So yeah, really don't know why this is taking so long. Next up, Elegant Geisha. So this is actually my oldest whip, coming from 2016. I thought it was 2015. Not that 2016 is much better, but it's a little bit better. She was something that I didn't particularly enjoy working on until I got the pattern digitized. One moment. She did a bit of floss on her. Oh yeah, I did some back stitching to it and the face just to see what it would look like. I kind of feel like I didn't. She got a couple of days, and I felt like I put in a lot of effort, and I'm just not sure if that effort showed. There's a lot of kind of confetti, a lot of places where there's one stitch of one colour. So I did try to plow through on that and make good progress. And then whenever I do get down to the bottom like that blue front of her dress will be maybe a little bit easier than the bits I'm working on now. She's going to take a while to finish, but at least I'm making progress on her. Okay, next up is Bayon Cat by Alforest Embroidery. I'm quite pleased with the progress I made on this one. Ta-da! I believe I said at the start of May that my intention was to finish the bottom border, and it's finished. Really pleased with that. I had maybe thought that I'd get a little bit more done, but it's fine that I didn't. I got that bottom border. I'd still love to see him finished by the end of the year, and I think that he might get a bit of attention this month, and I'll talk some more about that when I get to my June plans. But yeah, he's coming along. I love working on him. I'm genuinely going to be sad when I no longer have Bayon Cat in my pile. Actually, I think now might not be a bad time to talk about my June plans. So I am in a cross stitch Discord server. It's a lovely community, and back in, I want to say March, we did our first stitch along, and we chose fancy ladies as our theme because many people on the server, myself included, I was probably the main culprit. But there's a lot of people stitching fancy ladies, and that was really nice, so we decided we'd try it again. So the theme for June is flora and fauna, plants and animals. So what I had initially said, and I'm sorry I don't have a picture of what this will look like when it's finished. This is Year of Flowers. The picture does exist, but it's part of a kind of a collage of pictures of different ways of finishing this, and it's quite small and low quality. So just trust me when I say there's going to be flowers for each of the months. My original plan was to work on this and maybe get it finished in June. And then I realised Bayon Cat also fits the theme. So I'm going to work on both of these this month. I have a couple of other things that I probably will work on. There's something else I want to get finished. But for the month of June, these are my focus pieces. And I think for my next video, I'm going to be sure to take a picture of where they are now and where they are at the end of the month, so you all can see how far I got along. Okay, so we're on to the retreat. It was amazing. It was lovely. I always love getting away on the retreats. I love getting stitching. I love seeing my friends, and it was just special because this was the first Bella Filipina retreat. I actually was very restrained in haul in buying things. I told myself that I would go to the shop, I would look around, I would make note of everything I wanted to buy, and then I would go away and have a cup of tea. And while I had that cup of tea, I looked at my list, I'd taken pictures of some of the things, and I asked myself, do I really want this? Is it an impulse buy? When do I think I'll start it? Do I need to buy it now? Or cannot wait until I'm next at a retreat in September. And a lot of the things were actually, yeah, I can wait. So I ended up buying 2 patterns, which honestly surprised even myself. I thought there would have been more. The first one I'm going to show you is a Lizzie Kate Grateful, Thankful, Blessed. It's really lovely. I personally enjoy kind of listing the things that I'm grateful for in my life. It's probably something I get from my mum, and my aunt does it as well. And so I bought this from Hawkins Hobbies. It came as a little kit with the pattern and all of the Weeks Dye Works. Yeah, all of the Weeks Dye Works flosses. I made a start on this while I was moved out because I couldn't bring too much with me. In the 2 and a bit weeks we were moved out of the house, and this was quite small and easy to take with me. And I actually wasn't using a hoop for most of it. I've only started using the hoop for that bottom orange leaf, and you can see some of the variegation, which I think is quite nice. So this was kind of stitching in hand. I also had a work trip. I was away for 3 days on a work trip. So this was what I brought with me. And again, I was kind of only stitching for a little bit before bed. It was in hand. Yeah. But it was nice to have something small like this. I think I'm going to finish it as a flat ornament. I'm going to take backing fabric, cotton batting, foam board, cotton batting, foam board, cotton batting, fabric at the front, like a big sandwich, if that makes sense, and then put some nice cord around it to kind of sandwich it all together. And I think that'll be pretty. It'll be really nice. I feel that this is something I'm going to be asked to stitch more than once, and that's fine because it's so small. It's really nice to work up. So while at the retreat, we did a mystery gift box exchange, and I'll pop in a picture of what I included in my box. And I'm going to show you just some of the things that I got in my box. I'm only showing you some of it because I, for example, ate the sweets. I got little frog sweets for something stitchy related. The water bottle I got is in the sink at the moment. Just bits and pieces are around the place, but this is kind of what I have to show you right now. It was also like a Lush moisturizer, and that's actually come in really useful because with cleaning up all the dust, so I clean up a section of dusty house, my hands feel grimy. I have to wash them several times to get the feeling of dirt off my hands. And then because I've been, like dusty washing, my hands have been really dry and cracked lately. So just having that moisturizer to keep my hands a little bit softer is really appreciated. I also got some silks for you, and oh, these are so soft. I'm not really sure the best way to hold them up. They're so, they feel so lovely. I don't yet know what I'm going to use them on, but it'll be something nice because just look at those colours. It's going to be a pleasure to stitch with. Also got this. This is for something winter themed. And it's really cool. It's a little beaded ornament. I hope the camera's picking up the detail on that. It's entirely beaded. It comes with a little wire hanger to hang it on. I think that's going to be really fun. I've never made anything like that before, so it's exciting. This was also part of my something stitchy item, and like I mentioned, I got the frog sweets, which were really tasty. They were apple flavored. This is so pretty, and I've even admired this one before, so I was really happy to get it. Haven't started it, but I plan to maybe do Christmas in July, so I might do some Christmas stitching in July. Something multicolored, beautiful notebook. Kind of the edges of the pages are pink. It's lined on the inside. I haven't yet decided what I'm going to put in this because when you get a pretty notebook and you don't want to just dive in. And one of the other items, this is Neptune by Paul Stitches 28 count opalescent. Another one of the items was some fabric from Stash. And this is a really fun colour. So those are some of the items I got in my mystery box. It's really, really nice. I love taking part in those because I find people are really generous, and I suppose I do try to come up with creative ideas to match themes. Yeah, and it's always fun seeing how other people interpret different prompts. For example, one of the items was something sharp, and I gifted some scissors. I think scissors were a popular item for that, which makes sense. But in my box, I got some sour sweets, so like sharp tasting sweets, and I love sour sweets, so no complaints from me. Also, while at the retreat, we were lucky enough to receive a special pattern, a retreat exclusive pattern. I think it'll be released for kind of general purchase next year. And it's a lovely mermaid. What's her name? Sunrise Cove Mermaid. If you go onto the Bella Filipina Facebook group, I've seen a couple of people have finished her already. Like, I know she's smallish, but like that puts me to shame. She has a surprising amount of beads. I can't remember off the top of my head. But she's quite a blingy mermaid. For such a little one. But we were really happy with that. And we had a video call with Drin. That was really exciting. He said he liked the fabric that I'm doing Lakapati on, so of course they made. And as well, like, it was just really nice to be able to express that we appreciate his designs and we want more. It must have been kind of nerve-wracking to have to do a video call with like 50 women in a room who all have questions for you. But he was lovely. One of my other purchases from the retreat was this gorgeous project bag from Handmade by Susie. And you might notice there's a project in it. You might be asking, what's the project? This was the second pattern I bought at the retreat, Luna Mystica. I have always admired the shape. Does that make sense? That she's a mermaid sitting on a moon. I think that's really cool. But I kind of like, the colors are really pretty, but I was having a hard time picking a fabric. And then on the Bella Filipina Facebook page, I saw that someone had stitched her on in blue with red hair, and it was really striking. It was really pretty. So I kind of came to the retreat thinking that I wanted to buy the kit and I wanted to try to match the blue threads. So I picked myself up one of these suckers. This is my new favorite toy. It is a swatch palette thingy of all the DMC colors. It folds out even more. It's not all going to show up on camera at once. And perhaps my favorite part of it is the metallics at the back. I didn't even know that there were like pastel metallics. I think that's really cool. So my plan had been to purchase this and use it to match the blues that I was picking out from the pattern. And then I was browsing Pinterest in the airport when I was waiting on the bus to go to the retreat, and I saw a picture of a lunar eclipse. And so I'd been thinking in the back of my head about doing a colour conversion of Luna Mystica, and I saw the moon and it was instantly like, yes, lunar eclipse / blood moon, that red moon, Luna Mystica. So I went ahead and bought this, and a lot of the colours used in the original Luna Mystica, for example, these three are used, that colour's used. I have some of them circled in pencil, I'm not just remembering. That one's used. So I had an idea of like what colour family was used, so I started looking over this direction. And she has a lot of metallics. It's not going to show up in that picture, but there's a lot of her tail. The bottom part in particular is a Rainbow Gallery metallic amethyst thread. So I realized I was going to have to buy some metallics. Additionally, the kind of silver crisscrossing, you might be able to see that, is also in a silver metallic, so I knew I wanted to do that in gold. And And then it was Susie, who made the project bag, suggested that I take a look at some blues and pinks. So I kind of went on, I bought these selection of metallics, not entirely sure where I was going to put them, but knowing that I kind of wanted some pops of colour, because I felt that if she was all red it might be a little bit too much. So I had those colours, and I'm going to show you my mock-up that I made in PC Stitch. A friend of mine from the Cross Stitch Discord server had digitized the pattern for her own use, and then she was kind enough to send me on the digital pattern. I still had bought the paper copy, like I'm not stealing from Bella Filipina here. So that made it much easier to convert the colours, because I was able to just, you know, kind of select a colour and it would highlight all the purples, and I could say, what if I changed it to this red? So I was able to get an idea of how my mock-up might look, or how my changes might look. And I've decided that I want to do the little hangy bits from the moon in blue. I think that could be cool. Let me just pull out the fabric. Try not to show you the stitching just yet. So the fabric's this kind of grey, maybe a little kind of purpley hint to it, but I knew I wanted something that would evoke kind of like a foggy night sky. So this is what I went with. I can pull out some of these are some of the reds that I've been using. Very nice colours. I'm going to pull out the metallics just because they're so fun. They're a bit of a pain to stitch with, but love how they look. Oh yeah, and I have some Karnak as well. See, these are my reds. I have 3 reds. I've got 2 pinks. I've got 3 blues. She has a crown on her head as well, and I'm not sure if I should do it in pink or blue. And then I saw this colour in the swatch, and it's kind of a rainbow, dark rainbow metallic, and I knew I wanted to include it in the moonflower somehow. I'd also bought some oranges for the moon, because if you look at a lunar eclipse, you can kind of, the brightest bits of the moon look orangey. And I bought a couple of classic colour works, again in similar colours to these, but basically just to have as an option. And the one final thing you'll notice from the mock-up is I actually changed the skin and the hair. I kind of knew the hair would have to change because the rest of her was going to be quite warm and vibrant, and so I thought the grey kind of made her look a bit washed out. So I pulled out Like Patty's pattern and used the hair colours from that to darken her hair to black, as you can see in the mock-up. And then I was looking at her going, she looks great, but I felt that the light skin almost made her look a bit ill. She looked really pale, and I think that it was this, she was red, the moon was red, and then her skin being like this peachy pinky colour. It was too much in the same family, so I said, right, I'm going to go the whole way, and I also changed her skin colour to the skin colour that is used in the Like Patty pattern, and I feel she looks A, less sickly, and B, it kind of matches the warmer colour palette that I want for the rest of the piece. So yeah, I haven't even showed you what I've worked on her, what stitching I've done. Thought I was done. I'm not. Ta-da! Pattern Keeper tells, or Saga, sorry, I'm working on it in Saga, tells me I am actually 10% of the way through the pattern, which is impressive if true. I was really motoring along. I wanted to do the shape of her tail, excuse me, because I wanted to get kind of an idea for the shape of it, and I love the big sweeping arc her tail makes. And then I got really excited because I wanted to start on the metallics, which you can see down here, and that really slowed things down. So I had just started the metallics. I think that was like 2 nights work of metallics, and then I had to go away on the work trip, and then with stuff on at the weekend. Then we're moving back to the house. I haven't touched her since then, but that's about a week's worth of progress. I will probably work on her a little bit during June, just because I'm so excited to work on her. But like I mentioned, Bayou and Cat and A Year of Flowers are hopefully going to get most of my attention, along with the Grateful, Thankful, Blessed piece, because I want to finish it. Whew, I feel like I've been talking forever. My throat kind of hurts. That might be the dust in the house. Yeah, it's a real shame. All this cleaning's taking away from my stitching time. Not a fan. But anyway, let me know, what are your plans for June? Both stitching and just as the weather gets warmer. Like last weekend I went out to a local park. I had some training on with friends, so we were kind of running around the park, and then we'd take our water break, and I had watermelon with me, so I was like lounging in the sun, eating watermelon with my friends, and it was, all I could think of was, I am so freaking lucky. Yeah, that probably explains why I was drawn to that Lizzie cake pattern. It's just so easy to feel good, I think, when I'm, when the weather's brighter, when the days are brighter, when the weather's warmer, and it's not gloomy and wet like it so often is in Ireland in winter. I think that's enough for me. Bye!